Welcome to Tower of Guns. Yep, I'm gonna do this one. I've been kind of waiting for this to come out, and now that it's out on Steam successfully, damn right I'm gonna cover it. So, this is in the continuing line of what has been termed recently as Rogue-Lite, a genre that takes roguelikes but changes them up a bit, and I'm pretty, I guess you could say, elitist when it comes to the definition of roguelike. I believe very strongly in the Berlin interpretation. Look that up if you want. So it kind of pains me sometimes to see these people on Steam saying, we've made a roguelike, and it's not at all. But in this case, they know what it is. It is a roguelite. So what that means is it's got permadeath, it's got randomization, but it's usually got a fairly simple combat system. It's not turn-based, it's real-time, and it involves a lot of just running the courses that are randomly generated over and over and seeing how far you can get. So I've found all kinds of things as far as this goes. I've actually made it to the final level 3 or 4 times, the final boss 2 or 3 times, and beaten it once, but only once. So let's get into it. Tower of Guns, everyone. First of all, I want to say the options menu is actually really good. You've got a fair amount of things. You can rebind all your keys. VSync is actually disabled by default, and this menu is running at like 300 FPS, so, you know, whatever. Obviously not nearly enough. And I kind of recommend maybe screwing with the mouse sensitivity a little bit. It's a little strong. But everything else, stuff you would expect, you got your depth of field, your bloom, your motion blur, your anisotropic filtering, all of the stuff that, you know, you would come to expect from a good PC version, and it's got it. Even FOV options that go to a ludicrous level, so 95 is what I've set it to. And it even tells you what some of them are good for. So 100 if you're using a 16:10 resolution, 105 if you like it a bit wider and are using 16:9. You can go up to just ridiculous amounts of FOV, like 130, it's gonna start to fisheye at that point. 135 if you're nuts, 140 if you're an alien, oh, 150 if you're an alien, I didn't even know it said that, wow. 160 if you have like 9 monitors hooked up. Probably useless mode, indeed. So, yeah. Console mode, yeah, indeed. So, yeah. I like to keep it at about 95. I like this options menu, it's very good. The only thing I dislike about it is that you have to click to change things. It needs to have like arrows or something, so if I want to go, say, to 90, I can't go back. I can't like right click on it and take it back down to 90. I have to click again and cycle through all of them and then circle back over to 90, which is a little annoying, but that's a minor, very minor thing. So here we go. Let's just hop in. Tower of Guns. So you start by choosing a weapon. You have these two at first. This really crappy pistol, as you can see, standard issue, choose a better gun, and this portable pizza thrower that shoots out saw blades. And as you complete various objectives, you will unlock more weapons. I am a huge fan of this thing. It does say more DACA, so I mean, why wouldn't I want it? The orcish gun. Also, this hand cannon is interesting, and I just unlocked this, which I'm gonna try. And you also have all these perks. Now, you only start with a few, but they're all quite useful. You can only pick one per playthrough, though. I really like Bluegrass. It allows you to triple jump from the start. You can actually get a ridiculous amount of jumps in this game and just jump like 6 times in the air if you want. But we're going to start with triple jump because the amount of mobility it gives you at the beginning is very, very useful. So here we go. Let's just get into it. The game actually has a sort of random story. And some of these loading screen messages are fantastic, by the way. This game has a very unique sense of humor. So here we go. Get some money, and as you can see, there's some dialogue up the top. This changes. Right now, I'm a secret agent canine. Your character and the people you're talking to actually changes every time you play, and it gives you a different story throughout the tower as you keep ascending. That's actually really interesting. It's like a randomized story. And also a little secret, by the way. Every time you're in the foyer, the first level, if you turn backwards, you can walk through this wall, and there will be some extra stuff for you and some messages. There are lots of secrets in this game, lots of walls that are not actually solid, and some other stuff like that. So we're going to continue on. You'll see the kind of signature creature of this game now, the Hugbots, which are freaking adorable. You can kill them if you want. I don't tend to because they're really, really cute. So we're gonna get some of this, and if you're noticing right now, this is a very old school looking game as far as like movement goes. You got the slight bob, you move quite quickly and smoothly. Strafe jumping is a real thing, and of course I can triple jump right now. So here we go. It's an interesting projectile. All right, we're gonna go through the door, not kill the hug bots, and see what happens. So these rooms will be randomly generated every time, as long as with the enemies in them. Alright, so this has a slight AoE. I've never used this weapon before, so... the rooms you can come across the same room multiple times, but it will generally be a slightly different layout, have some different enemies inhabiting it and things like that. It's this thing that Rogue-Lites do a lot, which isn't a purely random generation like Rogue-Likes do, but is a sort of set of tiles or chunks of a level that are pieced together randomly and then filled with different amounts and different types of enemies. Binding of Isaac does this very well. So here we go. The enemy variety in this game is one thing I want to praise it for right off the bat. It's very good. There are all kinds of ridiculous types of these big turrets and guns and flying robots and all sorts of things. Now, normally, you wouldn't even be able to get up there, but I think maybe if I get a good run, since I have triple jump, I can get up there. Ooh, and there's another jump. I want that. Come on. Sometimes, just as in a lot of these games, there might be areas you simply can't reach unless you have a specific item or perk or something. So I could reach that up there if I had an extra jump or if I had a jump height power up, but right now I'm not going to be able to do it, so we're just going to have to keep going. Again, that's what the random generation of these games does. So as you notice, my weapon leveled up. You collect those blue orbs, oh god, and those blue gems, and they level up your weapon, which will make it more powerful and will also change the way that it fires. In this case, it seems to have a slightly larger area of effect, and also I noticed it seems to slow people down when I hit them with it, which is interesting. Yeah, it definitely does. It even slows the projectiles in the air down. So you want to keep leveling your weapon up to make it more and more powerful. These badges you find do different things, so in this case, that will increase the rate at which an active item charges. I don't have one of those yet, but we'll go for it. Getting health orbs, things like that, and now it shoots a bubble. And if you take damage, you will actually lose weapon experience, and your weapon can level down. In fact, mine just did. So we're just gonna keep going through this first level. Oh god. And you will have to, just with many of these roguelite games, kind of learn the way the game works. You'll have to learn the various types of enemies, their firing patterns, the kind of things they tend to do, and also you'll have to learn how best to equip yourself in terms of what perks you want, and what each of the weapons does and how it's sort of used best. So the first level's almost done. It's obviously the shortest of all of them. So we're just gonna get through this now, break that thing, get some more health and money, and go into the boss room. Every level ends with a boss, as you might expect. And the bosses, again, are kind of randomly generated. You never know exactly which one you're gonna get. So here we go. Dr. Turret, my least favorite boss. I have a lot of problems with this guy sometimes. So what I've realized fighting him a couple times is that you do a lot of damage to him if you find that big caution marker and destroy it. That's the best way to blow him up. And also, actually, this weapon is very good for fighting him because it slows down his projectiles. Since he fires like a million of them, it's kind of important. But there we go. Not too bad. I took way too much damage there. Talking and doing this is not easy, but they tend to drop an item or a gun mod. In this case, he dropped an item that I've never seen before, the 3366 megahertz turbo button. I have no idea what that does, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. Burst sprint. Alright. So, just like in many of these types of games, you don't know exactly what these items and gun mods and stuff do until you get them. And kind of experiment with them, so. Alright, maximum health badge, and up we go. Oh, I got a new gun! Nice. So, there is a par for each level, and I didn't find any secrets. Balls. That awesome Egon's Pride Mordaka gun is actually unlocked by beating up level par at least once. So I recommend you try that. But just in the, like in a game, the game called Risk of Rain, which I did, you have multiple choices for each level. So level 2 isn't always the Foundry. Sometimes it can be the Gearworks. which is a different sort of choice. Just like in Risk of Rain, where level 2 can sometimes be those ruins, or sometimes be that sort of mushroom level. This does the same thing, where the levels are randomly generated, but also the choice of level tile sets is different sometimes. So I'm not doing spectacular this time around, but we're gonna keep going. This is an interesting gun. I like the way it's got splash damage, but that it also is capable of slowing people down. So there's sometimes this, yeah, there's a secret back there behind this lava waterfall. I've got quite a bit of money, so yoink, out, worth it. So I can pay 58 in order to get a health extension, which I will do. And also what you can do is hold C to tilt, and this will teleport you back to the entrance of the room if you get stuck or something, which is important to have in a game with a lot of random generation, I feel. So we're gonna continue going. As you can see, the aesthetic of this game is interesting. It's not a bad looking game. It's got a similar style to Borderlands, which is what I would call a cell filter. It's not cell shaded per se, but it's got these these pretty good looking textures. Oh god, difficulty increase, that was a bad choice. With a cell filter over it, so that it's not purely cell shaded. There are textures, but they have this sort of filter over them. It's interesting, very interesting. And there are all sorts of comically sized spikes and cannons, and the actual aesthetic of the levels and enemies is very interesting. And like I mentioned before, it's got a very cool sense of humor with all the various different stories you'll come across. There aren't very many games with randomly generated stories, and this is definitely one of them. I've been through the tower as a DMV before. I was just someone trying to get through the DMV. Right now I'm a secret agent dog. I mean, what the heck? There's all kinds of stuff like that. It's every time you play, you'll get a bit of a different story, and each level you go to actually has a different aspect of story to it, which is pretty cool. So here we go. Oh, this room. This room is quite difficult because you step on those green plates and lava will come up at you. I've never actually had this room with this many of those turrets in it before. Those laser turrets are not good. So there we go. So I want to spend not a lot of time on this. Alright, there's an item I've never seen before. So, can I afford it? I'm 1 away. So if I go over here, try and get some cash. Ah! Is there seriously no cash? I'm 1 cent away from getting whatever that item is that I've never seen before. This is a really good item to use in this room. There we go. If I had a good amount of jumps, I could get up there, but not right now. Ooh, that's a gun mod. So your guns can have 1 mod on them. You can actually find other weapons in the levels sometimes that aren't the weapons that you can start with. There are different choices. And everyone can have a mod. And what's this one? TNT. This will make my bullets explode, but I can't afford it, so that's unfortunate. But some guns have some very powerful mods, like level 5 Egon's Pride shoots out a big spread of bullets with a mod called Spread that basically makes it into a shotgun. It shoots out just a ludicrous amount of bullets and makes you feel extremely cool and powerful. That's one of my favorite sort of combos. Just like with many roguelites, the idea is to try and get a combination of passive items that synergize very well together and give you a very powerful sort of attack and things like that, and this is no different. This does that as well. Only one complaint I have, if I may, is that you can only have 1 gun mod and 1 active item, and that's about it. You can't stack up a bunch of different passive items like you can in, say, Binding of Isaac or Risk of Rain or Our Darker Purpose. Wait, Luftfaust. Air fist? Sure, why not? So, I think that the kind of genre defining characteristic of roguelites is often that progression of trying to gather all kinds of passives to make yourself extremely powerful. And this genre is rife for that, but that's one thing that this game does not do, since you can only have 1 active and 1 passive, which is a gun mod. You can get a lot of health or a lot of jumps and stuff like that, but that's about it. And honestly, I would like for you to be able to maybe get more than one gun mod at a time, or maybe make some of the alternate weapons a bit more common. I've only ever found 2 of those alternate weapons in the many times I've ran this game. So we're in the battlements level now, which is quite a challenge, although the other choice for this particular stage is warehouse, and I hate warehouse because it's really dark and kind of difficult to navigate. So I prefer battlements. I like the aesthetic here. So if you're noticing, every level has its own kind of aesthetic, each tile set, and the enemies will continue to get more and more difficult as you go, up to a kind of ridiculous degree. And there's actually a difficulty level that you can increase. As you saw earlier, I got a difficulty increase power up, or power down almost. And you can even start with a very low or very high difficulty by the use of a perk. Ow. The I'm too young to die perk. Ah, and the nightmare perk. There we go, my 24th death. As you can see, I've only beat the game once, although I've been very, very close several times. Darn. Alright, so let's try again. Let's just do one more run to kind of get the idea of what a different run is going to be like. I unlocked a new gun. The hedgehog. Let's try it. What the heck? Let's try it. And, gun level 6 is nice, but I think I'm going to stay with bluegrass right now. I kind of want to try nightmare, but it's probably very difficult. Since I never used this gun before, I'd rather not. Here we go, back to the foyer. There are all kinds of little secret levels you can find, like, say, the Hugbot land, the world of Hugbots, and some of that other stuff. This gun is very interesting looking. Nice. Alright, here we go. Boop. Okay, so it fires out a bunch of spiky balls. Interesting. So it's almost a bouncy shotgun type of weapon. The spread mod on this thing, or the fire rate mod on this thing, would probably be kind of silly. No, I don't want to hurt those Hugbots. Oh no! Kill the boombots. Alright, so I'm curious as to the characteristics of this weapon, how they're going to change as it levels up. So let's, one thing these boombots are really good for is that they tend to drop a fair amount of weapon experience when they explode, so that's good. I can probably get level 2 in this room if I don't get hit. No? Not quite. I'm like one little orb away. Darn. Alright, let's keep going. I could destroy the Hugbots, but I'm not gonna do it! Can't make me. Oh my god! This has a very slow fire rate as of right now, but that will probably improve with weapon level. Let's see. There we go. Weapon level 2. It definitely fires more of those spiky balls now. Usually weapon level 5, which is normally the max, unless you take that Taco Terror perk, is very, very strong, but difficult to get to and can be quite difficult to maintain. So, we're gonna keep going. Get as many weapon gems as I can. It'd be nice to get a good weapon mod from the first level boss. That can happen sometimes. Alright. Just as it said, not for long range in the beginning, that's definitely true. So I guess to conclude on how I feel about the game, it's a really good effort into this genre, which is becoming very popular now, this whole Rogue-Lite thing. It puts its own unique spin on it, and I like it overall. I feel that, I feel that the kind of genre conventions could be implemented a bit heavier with, say, multiple gun mods or different kinds of passive badges that increase different things. But I mean, if that's not what they want to do with the game, then that's not what they want to do. And as it stands right now, the game is good. I like it a lot. It's very addicting to just continue to say one more run. It's got a lot of content with all the different levels and of course the random nature of each layout. And the secrets you can find on each level, the different weapons you can unlock, the different perks you can unlock. And the aesthetic is an interesting one. Very interesting indeed. It's quite hard. It's definitely not an easy game. Even with the Too Young to Die perk, it can be quite challenging, depending on what weapon you have, what sort of levels you actually get, which again is kind of a convention of roguelites in general. They're not always as hard as others. Uh-oh. There it is. Big ol' spike room. This is not the weapon that I would hope to get for this boss. Oh god. Kill it, kill it, kill it before it kills me. Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Come on, come on. Yes. Gotcha. Ooh, drop me a gun mod. What I get, what I get, what I get. Spread? Yes, this is already a shotgun, so. Yeah, now it's going to shoot an even bigger spread, and that's only going to increase as I level it up, so. Let's keep going, as long as we can. Beat the par time for that level. Go on to the next one. Oh, Gearworks this time, so you're going to see the different tile set for the second level. Here we go. Alright, so overall, very good effort into this genre. Very interesting game. Funny, very funny sense of humor. The way the sort of random story is told is kind of awesome. Enjoyable gameplay. And, I mean, I like it. I definitely like it. Not expensive at all. So, check the description for the Steam page, and if you find it interesting, buy it. Definitely try it out. The devs are continuing to update it. There has been a recent patch that's addressed some issues, and it continues to get updates. So there's going to be hopefully more content added, more bug fixes, things like that. And the game, to me, just seems like it's continuing to get better and better. So give it a shot if this is your thing. And even if the kind of conventions of the Rogue-Lite genre itself don't necessarily appeal to you, this game does it a bit differently. So maybe what I am not the biggest fan of are things that other people will definitely like. It's a very subjective thing, this genre, so here we go. We're going to continue going on this run until I lose, or win, but we'll go with lose, more than likely. See what happens. Now, you can just run straight through these levels without killing very many things. As you can see, I can open the door and just go through without actually finishing all these guys off. But getting more weapon levels and possibly getting some badges from them and money as drops can make fighting the boss, which is the one thing you do have to fight, easier. Which again is a very kind of risk of rain way to do it. So the more time you spend at a level, the tougher things are going to get for you, but also the more likely you are to sort of enhance your power, making the boss easier for you. So let's keep going. There are some times where I'll just find myself in a room or a situation where I need to get out. And that depends on the weapon and things that I've got. So right now, oh no! Right now, I'm going to get over here, try and blow some of these guys up for weapon XP, because I'm almost at level 4. Yeah! Nice. And I'm still not really finding secrets, so this thing definitely does not fire quickly. But what I'm realizing is it does a lot of damage, and with the spread mod, it's fairly silly. Alright, let's continue. We're doing alright. We're doing alright so far. Whoop. Ooh. These things are deadly because they have a very large blast radius, but enemies can hurt each other, so as you can kind of see, blowing one of these up has made it to where I can blow a lot of the others up as well. There are even enemy types that you haven't even seen yet. There are all kinds of turrets and tanks and things that you haven't quite seen yet. And I want this health power up. So again, with the random generation conventions of this genre, there's a lot of content here. A lot of gameplay that if you're into this sort of thing, and I most definitely am, you will probably like. Wait. 58, do I have enough? No, I do not. Not even close. That's an extra jump, it looks like, which would be nice to have, but I don't have the money for it, so I'm just gonna have to keep going. These are like my least favorite turrets. They fire those like energy balls that track you. Alright. Boss room, here we go. Bombot? Gotcha. Oh, it splits. Great. Wonderful. This is maybe not the most amazing weapon to have against this guy because it flies. This is working. Actually, this seems like an alright weapon to have because of the high spread. on something that splits like this is pretty good, especially when there's so many ads that spawn. Ah! It fires really slow though. Maybe a fire rate mod would be better than a spread mod, since it already has a slight spread on its own. Oh god. Okay, keep going. Keep going. Don't have an item I can use, just keep going. Beat the boss. You can do it. You can do it, Tyler. Come on. Beat the boss. Oh, jeez. Okay. The sense of scale of the rooms and bosses can actually be quite impressive and make you feel pretty satisfied upon beating some of the quite large and extended boss fights. The final boss, which always seems to be the same, at least from the 3 times I've reached him, is quite challenging. Quite challenging indeed. Alright, that was it. There we go. Nice. Ooh, dropped me an item. Alright, I've seen this item before, portable transmission fluid. What it does is it gives you a bunch of damage and armor, but it makes you kind of move around randomly and it screws with your vision because you just got drunk. Ah! As you can see. Alright. Bing! There we go, everyone. I think I'm going to conclude the video now. This is an excellent game. If this whole Rogue-Lite thing is to your liking, this is a good one. And if it isn't, well, this one does things differently enough to where you might want to give it a shot anyway. So there you go, folks. Tower of Guns. One of the more worthwhile recent Greenlight editions, in my opinion. Runs very well, by the way. Not very buggy. There have been a couple of bugs here and there, but I say that as I spawn inside of a turret. Well, I guess I should probably eat my words. But most of the bugs have been solved, and again, as I said, there are still being patches released for this very frequently, so updates that continue to solve bugs. The devs do listen and will talk to you on the forums and are not jerks. So yeah, it's a worthwhile investment in my opinion, and it's not that expensive, so there you go, folks. Tower of Guns. Thank you very, very much for watching. Oh god. Oh god. And I will see you next time. Okay.